This video teaches you all about the Saipark, the best place to find shiny Luma Temtem. I also have some potentially surprising bonus tips pertaining to areas outside of the Saipark later on. Whether you're a complete beginner or you already know your way around the airborne archipelago, you're sure to learn something that will help you on your quest for your very own Luma Temtem. I'm Milars, and I've personally caught over 24 Lumas, 19 of which I found in the Saipark, so I'm pretty familiar with the park. Before we get into the video, comment where you found your latest Luma, or where you are in the story if you haven't found one yet. I found my latest Luma, a grandpa named Starlight, as a Pajaro in Deniz. I was actually walking to the Saipats to TV train one of my Temtem after taking a break from Luma Volphy hunting, so Starlight was a big surprise. If you end up liking this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about how to catch Lumas and watch more Temtem content, consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to get alerted when more videos are posted. Now let's get into it. There is currently no item that boosts the encounter rate of Lumas, and the developers of the game have stated they don't plan on ever adding one. However, there is still a way to boost wild encounter rates of Lumas. After you defeat the third island, Tukma, you'll unlock a new area called the Saipark. The Saipark is roughly inspired by the Safari Zone in Pokemon. You can find the Saipark south of Brisal de Mar in Deniz. Every week starting on Monday, 2 new featured Temtems are added to the park, and the previous week's featured Temtems are removed. Currently, there is no way to see what the featured Temtem are in-game without encountering them. For now, you can find the Saipark configuration on Temtem's Twitter page or in the official Discord. They will probably add the configuration to this bulletin board in the future. There are also Temtem that are native to the Saipark and appear in their respective areas if the featured Temtem doesn't have a 100% encounter rate there. The chance for featured Temtems to be Lumas is also boosted every other week. On the weeks that the Luma rate isn't boosted, the SV of the featured Temtem are boosted instead. These numbers show the minimum possible stat for each SV for the featured Temtem. Even on SV weeks, it still might be advantageous to Luma hunt if the featured Temtem's encounter rate is higher in the park than it is normally in the wild. Most weeks, the featured Temtem also have a chance to appear with an egg move in the wild. Egg moves are normally only obtainable through breeding. This makes it hard to get Lumas with egg moves, since an egg bred from 2 Lumas only has a 1 in 80 chance of being a Luma. Since fertility is limited, 1 in 80 is a fairly low chance. Hunting in the Saipark is pretty much your best hope of getting a Luma with an egg move, unless you have many Lumas you can breed together. As the game still isn't fully released yet, sometimes the egg moves available on the featured Temtem aren't available anywhere else because the Temtem required to get the egg move on the featured Temtem aren't in the game yet. This happened with Bun Bun and Mudrid before Kissawa was released. You need to breed a Kissawa Temtem with a Bun Bun to get the egg move Dust Vortex on it, but Bun Bun and Mudrid were released in the Saipark with the chance of having Dust Vortex as an egg move before Kissawa was released. The boosted Luma rates, encounter rates, and egg moves make the Saipark the best place to hunt for almost all Luma Temtem when they are featured in the park. However, there are some things you should know before you start hunting in the Saipark. You must buy Sai cards before starting to hunt, as Sai cards are the only cards that work in the park. They do not work outside of the park. Currently, nothing stops you from entering the park without buying Sai cards, so you have to remember to buy the cards before entering. The price of Sai cards and how many you receive is different each week, depending on the featured Temtem and the Luma rates. The cards are usually more expensive during Luma weeks. You can buy more than the initial amount of cards the game gives you at the Mini Temporium inside the park. But beware! The price of the cards goes up every time you buy them. Sai cards are twice as effective as normal Temp cards in terms of catch rate. Sai cards also expire immediately when the Saipark is reset on Monday, even if you're in the middle of an encounter with a Luma. So I'd save yourself the pain of having an uncatchable Luma by stopping your hunt a minute prior to the reset. If you find yourself in the grass after the reset, smoke bomb out of there so you don't accidentally encounter a Luma when you have no Sai cards. I also recommend you get your Luma hunting team and technique practiced and prepared before hunting so you don't accidentally have any Lumas faint on you. You can watch this video on how to get prepped to practically guarantee your Luma catch in the iCard above or in the description below. Do note there are some Temtem that will probably never appear in the Saipark. This includes Kinu, the starter Temtem, Anahir, and Tuwai, even though Tuwai was in the park once. That's about all there is to know about the Saipark. Let me know if I missed anything about the Saipark in the comments. Now here are the bonus tips. The third evolution Temtem you encounter at the Tuai shrines will never be Luma, since you can't catch them. The northern part of the top level of Windward Fort in Deniz doesn't have any encounters, so if you're looking for Genki or Barnshi, don't try to get one there. Even if you're free Tem farming, make sure you have extra Tem card pluses on you just in case you run out of normal cards and then run into a Luma. If you're hunting for Luma Genki, Nesla, Acronox, or Azerok, be careful. These untamed Temtem can hurt themselves and sometimes their teammates using their own moves. They may faint themselves even if you're using the bait and wait method of Luma hunting. For these Temtem, I would skip the waiting. Just cage and hypnotize them right away and start chucking a lot of Tem card pluses at them. That's it for now! If this video helped you find your very own Luma, consider giving this video a thumbs up, leaving a comment telling everyone what Luma you caught, and sharing the video with your friends. If you want even more Luma hunting tips and other Temtem content, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time!